Welcome back, everybody. Here it is, the thin end of the tournament wedge, the grand finals. Double Shield Daniels up against the Quick Players. Now, Gunther, I've already seen the Double Shield Daniels once today. In fact, they just finished playing, but the Quick Players are another one of these teams that I haven't had chance to look at yet. How do you rate this matchup, having seen these two teams?
I had the pleasure of watching Quick Players in the group stages, and as much as their name might seem to be, they don't take the game very seriously, they were confident and they were very, very strong. And if I remember correctly, that was our last match, and it just felt like a clinical 3-0 on Oasis.
Wow.
They're
Okay.
they're strong. I think the Purple Flurp and Punky tank line is powerful. It's really, really powerful. They seem pretty coordinated on all of their dives, and just it just seemed like they were able to comfortably guide the team in a direction
Mm.
that was just cohesive. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but it was cohesive, and that's more than we can say for some teams.
Yeah, sometimes just working towards the same goal is as much as you can ask of particularly lower rank teams. The other thing that Purple Flurp and Punky have in their favor is that it's a very fun tank lineup to name as a duo. Like that's really right
Yes.
up there. Mm. So
Moose, I love you guys, but you're not, it doesn't
yeah,
roll off the tongue the same way as Purple Flurp.
yeah, Moose and Hida doesn't sound like quite as good a kids show as Purple Flurp and Punky. Like I'm much more inclined to watch Purple Flurp and Punky. And really, just as many chances I can get to say the phrase "purple fluff and punky," I'm going to take. 'Cause how often do you get to do that?
That is your God-given right to say that.
Exactly. And hey, it's nearly 3 in the morning here. If I'm starting to lose my mind slightly, hopefully you'll all forgive me that a little bit. But just to remind you of the stakes here, this is, of course, the grand finals. The format doesn't change. It's still going to be best of 3 in our control or King of the Hill maps here. So this could go as far as 3 maps. It could go as few as 2. We've yet to see Double Shield Daniels play up against Quick Players in the playoffs. So not got a huge prediction here of how this is going to shape up, but it's worth noting that the Double Shield Daniels playing against the W Train were taken right to the edge. It could very easily have gone the direction of the W Train in the semi-final round. So without the data on quick plays, it's a little hard to say, but DS Daniels, they're not unassailable.
Oh, definitely not. I don't think this is a massive, hurdle to jump as much as it's just going to be uh, a fairly even,
Mm.
just match. I was looking for some kind of Olympic wrestling analogy, as I had said hurdles. And they also have matches in wrestling, so that shows what I know.
True, you're quite the sportsman, clearly.
But really looking here, it seems that Double Shield Daniels are actually making a bit of a substitution. We
Oh,
saw Owen in the last map, and here we have a player named Jamega, who I haven't seen at all so far. But I'm excited to see if they bring something different to the table. And I believe the support line of quick players is also slightly different.
I couldn't comment on that one. I'm just trying to scroll down through the team sheet here for the Double Shield Daniels to see if we have any information. So bear with me 1 second. The Double Shield Daniels. Well, can't see them in the lineup here, so your guess is as good as mine on this one. But you got to wonder at this stage in the day, are they subbing in J Omega just because it's been 4 maps plus a group stage in a row? Like, are we starting to see some fatigue from our teams? Is this where we're starting to see people really starting to make mistakes?
Yeah, it's definitely these longer days where some people seem to just turn off and just get tired, and maybe they're
Mm,
done and they don't care as much, and they say, obviously you don't want to lose, but there's a little bit which just says, I want to be done.
yeah.
And so you don't maybe try as hard. And then there are some players who just have the ability to keep going and keep giving that energy for so long. And I'm not going to make assumptions about I haven't
No.
spoken with these people. I don't know who they are, but I think really the difference is going to be, do we have does each team have players which can go that distance, or does that team have players which say, I don't want to lose, but I'm kind of.
Yeah, and it's not just that, like, players at this level, maybe they don't do as much time, they don't play as much as people that are, like, top of open division, but even players at the top of Open Division,
It's every
um,
level.
at every level, can get tired. I'm thinking back specifically towards the lower bracket semifinals of EMEA Open Division this weekend just gone. We were looking at a team potentially having to play 14 maps back to back, and like really seriously considering forfeiting in the middle of that. So, you know, no shame if you are tied here, but good that you've got J Omega to sub back into this one to help bolster the ranks. But we are now ready, Gunther, to go into our our ultimate match today. In fact, I don't know where the penultimate came from there, and we're going over to Nepal first and starting on Shrine.
We haven't seen Nepal on stream today, so I love Nepal personally, so I'm excited to see just how, you know, teams maybe try to play differently on this map. Maybe since they haven't seen people play on stream for this map, they're going to try some cheeky stuff, or maybe they're not super comfortable playing this map because no one's really played it a lot.
Interesting to me, looking at what we got currently selected in Spawn, and I'm looking at the Double Shield Daniels here, that we've got J Omega coming in on the Doomfist, because this is a look that we've seen from the Double Shield Daniels, but with Owen in instead of J Omega. So this is maybe a thing that they've got a little bit of experience with across a couple of different iterations of the team.
Yeah, and I want to really look at the difference between the two comps seem very similar, but in the end, you see a Baptiste and an Ashe coming out for the side of quick players, which shows you're trying to poke a lot more, and maybe they took a Reaper for counter dive against the Doomfist.
Quite possibly. Well, we're going to see J Omega looking for the punch in there. Doesn't find too much. And in the meantime, we lose Moose. Just going down to Purple Flub here. It's 5v6. Charge won't connect, but displaces Heater in a big way. Purple Flub actually gets caught out on the side there and focused down. But this is trade for trade for trade here, as Punky's able to take Mystic out of the fight as well. No clear winner. But as Sukaki, in fact, still no clear winner. We're going to be like last man standing looking at who's going to get this cap here.
Kita's just been pumping out damage this whole fight. He's up 20%, 30% against Punky.
Wow.
And he's gonna have grab here.
Wow. This is crazy. As the point unflips, this is going to be where this comes in. The Graviton Surge doesn't do much through that immortality field, but it buys a little time and space. It buys some early capture percentage. Cat comes in with a coalescence here, but quick players, they make themselves scarce. Here is the answering Graviton Surge, but in the meantime, Mellow has generated the sound barrier. Shatter comes out as well, but there's no real follow-up here. Sukaki is able to find moves, but it's still not a team win here. It is trade for trade, and all the while, the Double Shield Daniels are ticking up that capture percentage. The kill there onto J Omega might have been the final leg being pulled out from under the table here, because there is a lot of charge available for Punky, and he's trying to beam people down. Saraki's got the Death Blossom. Is he going to pull the trigger on it? Does he need to? He finds Mellow with a primary fire. Punky is going to pressure out Moose, and this might finally be the cap here for the players. Oh, maybe no! Sakaki's down, and the Death Blossom finds nothing. He gets interrupted in the middle of it. Here's the blade out from Mystic as well. Can't find too much, but again, that consistent body damage will eventually result in a kill here for Punky. And the Double Shield Daniels are still in control, Gunther.
Double Shield Daniels just said, "You can take this point from my cold, dead hands," and then they rocked that fight for 2 minutes straight. Kita's coming up on another grab. I think it's amazing how both Zaryas have just been pumping out damage this entire time. Like, zero downtime. Still going.
Yeah, I'd love to see the average energy, because I feel like it's got to be high 80s easily for these guys. Punky about to get a grab of their own here as well. Will get grabbed in first. A lot of damage in over the top. And this is looking like where quick players can finally make the point their own. It cost them a couple of ults to make it work, but a pretty good showing on that fight.
Yeah, and quick players really just have Shatter for this fight, whereas Double Shield Daniels are coming back with a grab and with a beat. If they want to go aggressively with this grab, maybe build a Cole and toss that in the mix, then this is looking like an easy cap for them. But if they mess up either of these ult rotations, then they might not cap this at all and get screwed over in the ult economy.
Gonna go for the rotation on the left-hand side here. Heater with the grab away in the back line. Has to burn down the immortality field. Can't find any kills on the back of it. And in the meantime, Purple Glove is going to find Cap here. Heater still with the high energy. Has the bubble ready to go. Keeps one alive. Mystic with a dive through. can't find enough here, but he is still alive, still pumping out the damage, but he's being focused down, chased by Purple Flub, chased by Sakaki. Sakaki's going to go down here, and Mystic deals with Punky. Mystic finds a second, Havana going down as well. He might have done enough here to secure the pick as the Coalescence comes in. It's 99-44, the flip is there, the contest is not. Molten Core fireworks onto the point to round it out, but DS Daniels taking the first point.
Yeah, we have pause coming out. I saw Kath got picked early by, I think, a Rhine charge, and I said, oh, this is going to be really bad. Now it's just going to be a long stagger fight. Maybe quick players are able to come back in alt economy and win this, but just the slow grind, mellow with a well-timed beat, a strong shatter. He does just consistent damage. They were able to slowly chip away at the stone walls of the fortress that was quick player.
I think the other thing that's been impressive for me to watch for the Double Shield Daniels is like a real resistance to giving up the point, like not acknowledging there's the chance they may have lost a fight and still keeping on going, and it helped them grind out so much capture percentage in that first fight before the quick players were even able to get a cap, that they only needed to win that one fight and it secured them the win. And like that perseverance to keeping themselves in this, I think could be the real difference maker here.
Yeah, Double Shield Daniels just planting their feet down and saying, I will not move from this spot. And the only way that quick players could take that is after, an incredibly long and grindy fight. But coming into this point, we see the Reaper or the Doomfist May Zarya comp, which was popular for a short period of time. But I find it very interesting how you're really just trying to wall behind, bubble your Doom, and punch into your own wall.
Well, they're going to be second to the point here, but J Omega finds Punky, and that's a big pick so early on in the fight. Moose finds Calm Cellist, and quick players, they do the right thing here. They're just backing out.
Yeah, that was clinical, I'd say. The fact that both teams barely have any ult charge just shows that they didn't do a lot of damage, but the damage they did do was very consequential.
Sakaki's going to make the swap here, coming in on top instead, which I don't know if I feel that's the best pick on this one. Beautiful wall out from J Omega, splits the team in two, and Sakaki with the turret already finding Mystic here. They're not out of the fight just yet though, but Sakaki finds the second. The damage continues to come through. The mitigation from Double Shield Daniels is just not sufficient. The chase comes through, and they are going to secure the win on this.
Yeah, because of the fact that Double Shield Daniels are running May and quick players decided to pick up the Sigma, it feels like these fights which go longer, and as Double Shield Daniels just start to lose that spam war, it really just looks like quick players are the ones who are going to win those long grindy fights.
Interesting adaptation from quick players that are already working out for them. The Shadow comes out, will allow the pick onto Mystic, which just sort of blunts the team fight then and there. Although, away on the low ground, Mellow coming in with a speed boost to get to point. Amplification Matrix out from Havana, and a nice wall out from J Omega stops the rock connecting. But Punky about to find the Gravitic Flux here, and Sakaki in the back throws in the Molten Core. Triggers out the sound barrier for Mellow to help them survive through that, but now they've got nothing to get in the way of that high noon, and Kath and J Omega both down here to ultimates. Quick players winning this one out, even with a little bit of a last second contest.
And just by the nature of the compositions, quick players are looking for longer, more poke-based fights. And sure, they won that over time. Both teams invested a lot of ults. Still feels like, if Double Shield Daniels keep taking these quick rotations and these, faster fights, they might just be able to take this before quick players know what hit them.
But in this next fight, though, there are two big space control ultimates available for Double Shield Daniels. They've got Blizzard, they've got the Graviton Surge, they've got the wall out to stop the Ingress, and they secure the flip, which is massive because the Graviton Surge is now out, and that's a beautiful placement on the Immortality field around the corner. Stops too much follow-up damage, securing kills, and now they've got space to plunk in the Amp Matrix. The wall's going to go down incredibly quickly under that. They're doing such a good job here, but oh my days! Punky eats the Blizzard. That is offline. They needed that. That was such an important part of this fight win. because they are now down in numbers. Moose and Kath both down. All of Quick players are around to keep this going.
That was so I don't have words. It's just Joe Mega came out, he started to fight, looked like he was gonna blizzard, and then he ice blocked, baited out Punky's shift, and then he came out of ice block and blizzarded, and Punky's shift was still going. It felt like he went for a bait and just it ended up not working out in the same way.
Didn't properly count how long that steady grasp was going to last for. And speaking of Sigma abilities, we'll see the Griddy Flux out early, but countered by Mellow's sound barrier. Wall stops Purple Flirt getting out of the way of the Coalescence, but oh my days! Just the sheer volume of damage from the Molten Core on the High Noon deletes the Daniels from the point.
Such a clutch lamp. If you saw how it bounced through the tiny corner of the Maywall, it kept Purple Flip alive for long enough to absorb all that damage, let McRoo charge up all that High Noon, let Sukaki, put the lava all over point, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, they're banking on this Death Blossom being huge here, but Punky can eat a lot of this and rob a lot of value out of it. Now we are going to see that the Amplification Matrix is up. It's going to be difficult to survive that. He receives the bubble and gets two. We'll find Purple Flip here as well. We see the flip coming through now, but Sakaki is able to find Moose. He is down as well. And Omega is alive on the point for now. A lot of damage in over the top with the help of Mystic. Now they've got to wait out the sound barrier. Freeze is going to connect here. Are we going to see this come through? That's a beautiful wall. Stops the Molten Core getting through, but it's not enough to save Kath. Mystic with a line here onto the Wrecking Ball of Punky. Deals with Punky. It's still 99.99, but what a charge from Purple Blood. Stick down. There's the Blizzard. This time it comes through, but there's nobody really there to capitalize on it. Moose is going to find the pick there with charge onto Calm Chalice, but he's alone on the point. The flip's going to come through. There's no one for the Daniels, and we're going to go to 1-1. One more sub-map on the board.
Oh, if Mystics lived just a little bit longer, he could have cleaned up that entire Blizzard, but he gets charged by Purple Flurp. Even with the beat, he gets cut down. God, this series is just getting close. We're still on the first map, but it still feels, so incredibly close. I could cut the tension with a knife.
A series like this could go to as few as 4 submaps, as many as 9 submaps, and this is feeling like a 9-mapper here. Like, if this is as back and forth as it's going to be all the way through the series, we're in this one for the long haul.
Yeah, and I want to look at Double Shield Daniel's comp quick. Well, now they've changed it so that it's better and I don't have to say it's bad. But when they were running the Reaper, that feels very counterintuitive to your other DPS, which is looking to spam. But now they have the Genji who can just, go in on off angles and combo with pulls, and it's just very strong right now. So we see a dive versus a bunker comp. Bunker comp's looking to set up, the dive is going to look to destabilize them.
I'm really worried about that Wrecking Ball, because that's exactly what I was worried was going to happen. He will get the knockoff onto J Omega as well. They clearly weren't expecting that, because they just lined up like bowling pins ready to be knocked into the gutter.
Oh, and that is the importance of scouting. They didn't have someone say, hey, I think they're on dive. Let's check if they have ball. They just went. And yeah, there's a lot of, maybe there's a lot of nerves right now and you're not checking every corner that you used to, but keeping those fundamentals together, checking those corners, scouting properly, that's what wins games.
And they're still sticking with this double shield. They can't afford to take Tangle, because I don't know if you can make this out, guys. That red circle in the background is going to be the Wrecking Ball. Won't get the knock through this time, but expect Punky to try and make this rotation again, because it's just free value. There's nothing you can do against being into the pits. That's a nice start though. J Omega with the trap there to stop the roll through happening.
Yeah, and Double Shield Daniels have to rotate point. They're not doing anything by poking here. Now they finally make that rotation, but it's so dangerous and Punky's in a great position.
Oh, that was beautiful. The trap just completely stops up Punky's attempt to roll.
Tragic.
It could have been such a big knockoff, but it's not going to happen. And instead, we are going to see a heavy advantage now for the Shield Daniels with Pulse Bomb. Even through the Immortality field will do the damage here. It allows Purple Flip to just go ham with the Winston ultimate, and they're now at 60%.
Purple Flip just killed 4 with a Primal, and that's amazing. There's still a Nanoblade for this last fight, and Quick players are probably going to say the same thing they did last time of, you have to come to point. We already control the thing. And then they're going to hit them on those rotations, throw out the Nano Blade, and it feels like Double Shield Daniels might just be cut down, and this is 100-0.
I feel like you've got the Riptire here. Just sending it in to kill Havana is huge value here, but they're not going to be given the chance to get it off. Will get it off, but not have chance to actually cast the tire, and Sakaki chops them into mincemeat. But now, Misty comes back in, will find two. Flux is going to come out from Hida. Cath with the rally here means they might just have enough to make this happen. Calm Chalice dies with the rally still intact, but now it is just Cath against both the Wrecking Ball and the Ana. The dive comes back through here. Joe Mega with a punch through. Won't find the pick and gets focused down from McCrew. Metal Finer gets the ultimate online, and the kills are there. 3 kills on board, 4 kills as Hida gets in on the action. And against all odds, they flip it at 99-0, Gunther.
That is incredibly surprising, but now Double Shield Daniels are on a bit of a suboptimal comp. You know, Cath has to swap Lucio. Hida is still on Wrecking Ball here, whereas the comp and the purpose of Quick Player's comp still exactly the same. They're ready to take this fight.
Yeah, it's a designed comp versus a comp of happenstance, and it's going to be very difficult to make it work. Momentarily forcing some pressure onto a couple of tanks on the high ground. Moose with the supercharger here was in a good position behind the shield, but Pulse Bomb deals with it, and now you've got to battle your way through the minefield. If you're Double Shield Daniels and you've already lost Cath here, you are not feeling great about this one, because it's Moose and J Omega trying to make it work. Hida will get the knockoff. He's in a position to keep this going that little bit longer, but there's only so much you can do once the adaptive shields are done. You're going to get focused down here. There's no need for Quick Players to make their way through that minefield, although DS Daniels are still holding on to it for now. It's a 99-55. One last contest here. Cath's going to find Punky in this one. We will get the Meteor Strike out, but it's a very difficult ult to find picks with. And there's a nano-boosted Dragon Blade to worry about. If you're Quick Players, you've got to be feeling pretty good about this last fight.
Yeah, there have been a few shaky last fights, but they closed this one out. It really comes down to the fact that Quick Players were able to keep the integrity of their comp and execute on what they wanted their comp to do, which was hit Double Shield on rotations. And Double Shield was forced onto this odd kind of hybrid comp with Orisa and Ball, and they weren't able to set up properly in order to, force Quick Players into bad positions, so the Ball and the Genji could go aggressively. Instead, it just ended up being a mess in a bad way of saying it. But it wasn't. It was like a Jackson Pollock painting. That's it. It's like a Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, there's artistry there, but if you're looking for a drawing of a house, it ain't it. It's just raw artistry. You're not looking for deeper meaning necessarily.
Yeah, you're not finding a house, but you are finding your soul.
Yes. Well, who knew you were coming to this broadcast today for poetry and art history as well as Overwatch? But that's going to be Quick Players starting the series off at 1-0, having taken the poll. And because of the way this series works, this is technically match point, Gunther. They've got to win this one more match, and they will be the winners of the Pluto Cup. Double Shield Daniels, in that last round, they had some moments of brilliance. They did come away with one sub-map, but I feel like they've really got to step things up here, because Quick Players, particularly on that last sub-map, looked dominant.
Yeah, we're heading into Lijiang Tower here next, which has a really good variety of different maps for both teams to flex their muzzles. Starting on Control Center, you expect to see a lot of Rhine Brawl. We might see some Junkrat in these enclosed spaces, maybe some of the Mei comps that Double Shield seemed pretty comfortable with. But overall, this is just going to be, one of those close range, aggressive, brawly kind of maps.
Of course, still waiting on an initial showing of what we're going to be seeing here, but I think you're right. We might well see the Junkrat here. I think of maybe any map in the game except possibly Anubis A. It's the map that's most suited to a Junkrat, and we're dealing with players in the 2,500 to 3,500 range. It's where you expect to see a lot of Junkrat, and J Omega already hovering over it.
Of course, that's my way. Do it.
He knows.
The funk rat. And we see McRoo starting on Sim. They might stick, they might not quite sure here, but I want to look at the tank line with Purple Flurp and Punky on the Rissa Rhine. You're really looking for a lot of pull fire strikes, but you often see DPS which go more aggressive with this comp, which doesn't really scream towards Symmetra to me.
No, we'll see whether this is. Looks like it's just an initial TP there, and we're going to see McCrew pick up the Junkrat here. And we won't see the Junkrat at the point just yet, but the forward line and the tanks here able to get in and start to put in a couple of body blows there onto the Spaniards. And they win the initial exchange in terms of taking space on the high ground, but they are going to lose McCrew. Sakaki and Calm Chalice fall right after, and that's a done deal. Double Shield Daniels looking to round things out here.
Yeah, between J Omega and Hida's right clicks, the amount of raw damage getting funneled into that one hallway is it's immense. You know, it's hard to live through that even when you do have that Baptiste plan. And
what a
fight picked by Moose.
Man, that's really unfortunate. That's progress on the point that you don't want to be giving up for free just because you've lost a player. And Moose already at 71% on this Fire Strike.
This choke is incredibly hard to break, especially on this very immobile comp. Fire Strike.
Crucible, that Fire Strike through the Amplification Matrix, deals with Mystic and Cath. Hida, I think, maybe going for the tactical reset, and possibly forward his jump to get around the side and flank. But that's going to be a Cath here for quick players. There's no chance they're coming back from that one.
That Baptiste square charges so quickly, and especially when you're running a Genji, you need to be ready to deal with that pull Fire Strike square combo. He could have deflected that back, and we'd be sitting on the other side of things.
J Omega with the early pick, though. Havana's going to go down. They've got the 5v6. Purple Flurp has the Shatter ready to go, puts it down. It only finds J Omega, but that might be enough. Healer's going to follow as well as McCrew takes them out of that one. Another aborted push here from Double Shield Daniels, but they're not out of this one. They're going to throw in the sound barrier. Shatter comes out as well, but it's on top of the sound barrier from Calm Cellist. We see the Molten Core come out to try and deal with Mystic as well, and so much has been thrown at this fight. And it's found so little for Double Shield Daniels.
Double Shield Daniels committed 4 ults when they were down 2 people. Oh, it's tragic. It's when your teammate screams, winnable, 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 and then you just go for it. But from the beginning, it was cursed.
Yeah,
you
you've
still
got to
have the
realize
grab
that,
to work with here.
You've got to realize that sometimes winnable, winnable, winnable is just ladder play Tourette's. It's not always true. It's you can afford to ignore that sometimes. But the only ult currently on the board is going to be this Graviton Surge from Hida. In the right place, with Moose there to swing through it, you could find a lot of value on this one. There's the first pick. McCrew's going to go down to Mystic, but the Immortality Field keeps a lot of the team alive. Starting to see a little signs of life now in Double Shield Daniels as Hida finds Sakaki here as well. Nice halt to bring everybody together, but no follow-up damage. And Moose is able to come in and swing, but he swings right into the line of fire of the Earth Shatter, gets knelt down. Big charge out, deals with Punky. He's going to go down here. It's 80% on the board for quick plays, but DS Daniels finally pushing back here, looking to round this one out and do down.
Yeah, I saw Koth got picked early in, and I was like, okay, well, you know, Double Shield Daniels probably just reset here, but they keep taking these long, grindy fights and keep coming out ahead somehow. It feels like quick players just need to... I feel like Death Star laser beam target focus more.
We're going to start things out here with the Supercharger, buys them some space, and J Omega finds more than space. Finds the head of the diminutive Swedish engineer. Sakaki now out of the fight. It's a 5v6, and we've seen ults converted into a lost fight here from quick players, and ult rapidly charging up here for DS Daniels as we round 70% capped.
Yeah, and all those ults they burned in that last fight where we said they were down 2, Double Shield Daniels, they have those check marks back. That's a really early square.
Very early, going to use that to buy some space, get around that corner and avoid that first choke, but they're walking into a grab. Dragon Blade combo, they're going to try and round that out with the sound barrier and with the Riptire. Sakaki now with a Molten Core, but it's going to be too late to save Calm Cellist as Mystic deals with him. J Omega's going to find Soraka. Mystic with the Reflect, finds a little bit of value there and gets in over the top, looking to try and burn down Purple Flurp. Who's going to find Mellow, but it's not going to be enough. As we see the kills coming through, it's 99-90 in favor of the Double Shield Daniels. They've got the kills, and as Calm Cellist goes down, they've got the 0.1 and 0 on Li Chang. The last second tag in by Sakaki is not going to be enough to keep them this.
in order to really take this, Quick players need to find some way to close out these longer fights, these grindy engagements where, you know, people are down and there are spawns coming back in. It feels like Double Shield Daniels is always able to clutch those out just by the skin of their teeth.
That's what we saw in the last round as well, is that Double Shield Daniels, they're one of these never say die teams. Sometimes it doesn't work out for them. We saw them chuck 4 ults in a lost fight when there were 2 members down, but when they have like a full team on their way back in and they're holding on, they can really make magic happen.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful, actually. Just how much they refuse to lose, and that raw willpower wins fights.
It really can do. Gonna see the double symmetric coming out here for both teams, and we might see a nice little
Are both teams TPing point again? This was like the first map of the broadcast!
Here we go. Time is a flat circle. We're back where we started with the Symmetra Maycomb here, and Purple Flurp with the first pick. Gonna get frozen up here, but J Omega's down. Ida finds McCrew. Punky kept alive by that kinetic grasp. And Quick players have done the heavy lifting in this team fight. They're gonna round out first control.
Yeah, Ida keeps pumping out damage on this Zarya, and it feels like he's been incredibly strong, but now Punky is just walking at him and throwing a shield in his face and saying, "Shoot me, I dare you."
I got a shield, what you gonna do? Fire strike me through it?
Yeah, Mystic and Mellow swap over to Pharmacy comp, but they're still keeping the sim. So it feels like they're looking to play a bit more spam here, but if Quick players play this properly, they can rush onto the core of Double Shield Daniel before they're able to really get any value from the Pharmacy.
And I feel like this is a nice adaptation. Like, look at the way the Quick players are playing. They played in quite a spread out way to minimize the impact that a Pharaoh Rocket can have. It's not completely shutting down Mystic, as he is already at 38% of the kill, having just swapped over. Oh, nice shout out from Purple Love, interrupts the coalescence and finds the pick there onto J Omega as well. Charge with a nano boost, deals with Ida, and that's going to be another one fight here. And ultimate's still available for Quick players.
It just feels like Stagger at this point, which,
Down with
oh, hit him? Damn, I was ready for the shock put.
Superman gets him just at the last second.
Yeah, and coming into this next fight, it's still the same story of how are you going to push that front line when they spam you? How are you going to go aggressively before the sim can charge up her laser beam?
And I'm looking at what we've got to play with the Double Shield Daniels. They really need something to combo heavily here with Hida's Revenant Surge. Like, the Surges have been good, but you've got to have something to go with it. It's no good going in unseasoned. There's the TP into the back, and J Omega commits to it and gets punished for it. At the very least, it's a lost fight already. You don't mind getting out that flux.
Yeah, of course. Double Shield Daniels haven't really committed anything, but they need to get back fast if they want to have a real last fight here.
This is 91%. We need Hida with the grab to group them together to find the value here for Mystic. It's a great wall out already. Punky! 8! Hida's Graviton Surge, been waiting all around for that to come on board. Cat's able to find one with the Coalescence, and Mystic gets brought back in. And it looked like a lost fight here for the Double Shield Daniels, but just through sheer gumption and determination and moose, they find their way back in and they flip.
Dude, somebody put these guys in the Green Lantern Corps because they have more willpower to win these fights than anything I have ever seen. They may have used pretty much every ult for that, but it's not like Quick players have a lot to work with themselves. They have a Shatter, which could be big or could be nothing, and they have a Nano, which could be kited out very easily.
I'm just waiting for this to hit Purple Flurp and Purple Flurp to come in swinging with the hammer. I think Shatter or no, this could be a big one. Oh, here's Sukaki with an interesting wrinkle over on the Soldier now. There's a Shatter, puts 3 on their backs and 2 immediately down into the grave. Chase there to try and deal with Mellow, but Mellow valks out of the way. Mystic's down, Mellow's down. This is a phenomenal flip from Quick players.
Yeah, they probably ult-tracked really well. They came in really aggressively and said, hey, we have Nano Shatter, go.
Wow, there's the flip. Contest coming through, but Moose is going to get heavily focused down. 99-44 is looking to be more or less where this ends. Mystic has the barrage. She gets in the back. Wilf 1 actually gets 2, but it's just too little too late. Or is it? Heater gets back in, throws the Graviton Surge in, lines them up for the Coalescence. Heater gets one pick out of that already, but oh, beautiful shadow from Purple Float just completely stuffs up that recontest. But more of this Double Shield Daniels never say die attitude in fights.
God, there was a moment where in that very last fight where I was like, mother of God, are they gonna flip this again? But thankfully, Quick Players were able to close it out. I want to highlight how I feel like we've mostly seen Purple Flare playing Ryan, and now he has a strong Winston, but on this map, without the support of a Diva and against the spam of a Pharah, it might be really hard to get value for him.
I do wonder if you're just hoping that you can do enough here with, for example, Punky running forward and maybe getting a knock-off as they try and cross bridge, that you can just generate a lead in ults and have possession of the point. But yeah, it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, a gamble is a good way to put it. You're hoping they don't run out on these crazy spam comps, and you're guessing that they're gonna go a certain way. They don't go bridge, they go white room. They avoid the threat of the boop.
Yeah, great play already. Still looking for someone to try and make an aggressive push towards the point. Heater's going to receive the anti-nade, but it doesn't really matter because Mystic and J Omega between them secure that two-player advantage. There's the swing through onto Bubble Flip, and he's got to get out. Double Shield Daniels coming in swinging on this one.
Feels like Mystic just, like, it feels like J Omega just, like, softened them all up, and then Mystic, lightly feathered them, and his name flooded the kill feed. And I'm sorry, Jomega. I see the weight you're pulling.
It's the old 1-2 punch. Unfortunately, the one doesn't tend to get the credit.
Yeah, they swap over to a double hit scan comp here, which feels kind of interesting, but also workable.
It almost feels like overkill, but I guess the additional McCree in this with the flashbang to try and interrupt J Omega might be what they're going for. But J Omega is doing so much work. He's nearly got this ultimate online and ready to go. He's got the escape tools. And J Omega finds Sakaki. It's already an abortive fight here for Quick Players.
Yeah, and if you're gonna run something like the Soldier and McCree, maybe you just play a Sombra and Ashe together, which achieves a pretty similar thing, but they still are different enough to get a lot of value in different off angles.
Yeah, and just look at the ults available for Double Shield Daniels. We'll see the Nano Boost come out here, and Purple Flood, I believe, just calmly dodges the charge from Moose, but 2 picks already. We're going to have to see them go back to spawn and retry this. Mystic gets Sakaki off the side, and Heater is being bullied here by Purple Flirt, but he's got backup. Moose with the Fire Strike could deal with that.
Yeah, and this is looking like last fight territory here for Quick Players. There's still Purple Flip swaps over to the Rhine, but doesn't really have a strong off tank to support him. If Moose and Heater recognize this, they can just run him over with their projected bubbles.
Yeah, and of course a lot can be done here just to stop the aggression coming in straight off. There's the Graviton Surge. They're looking for the Space Jam. Where's that going to come down? Actually comes down behind it, doesn't get the combo, and instead J Omega takes a lot of damage, and Heater goes down here. Takes a dive over the side. That's an opening for Quick Players. Punky drops the mines and stops the recontest coming through. Shatter comes out. He just walks right past the shield and drops the hammer. Sakaki finds Mystic. It's 99-0. There's a High Noon in the back. There's the 4th kill. They're doing it again at 99-0. One of these teams is looking ready to flip here, and they get it. 4 on the point, and they're going to flip it.
Both teams committed a lot of ults there, but I want to point out this really smart play from Mahita and Moose, how they recognize that Purple Flurp doesn't have the support of an off tank. They pushed up all the way onto the enemy Mega across the bridge, and they grabbed the Reinhardt, and I think if they were able to combo maybe better with that Meteor Strike or with some other offensive abilities, they could have really nipped this contest in the bud.
Mystic going to be looking to come around the side here with the barrage. Not really a lot here that can counter him, except, of course, that Tactical Visor, which counters him nicely. That's 2 down, and looking at another one team fight here for Quick Players is around 31%. They are a couple of minutes away from potentially walking away with a victory here.
The issue with this lost team fight isn't that they lose it, it's that it feels like it's taking them so long to lose it. Like, Moose is incredibly low here, is going to give some all charge to supports, but for that entire fight, it was so dangerous for him. He could have gotten picked and staggered even more.
And it comes down to sort of the risk-reward of this very never-say-die attitude we've seen from DS Daniel, is that, sometimes it works out for you, sometimes you are just in there feeding upcharge. Kath starts things off with the Coalescence, but gets shattered out of it. Mystic went for the barrage, but gets picked out. Purple Flurp still alive, and we are at 68, 70% on the board here for Quick Players as they get that team kill gong.
Double Shield Daniels have another chance to get the Space Jam combo here. It's the Grav Meteor Strike. And I think a lot of this is going to come down to their execution. They don't have Zarya bubbles to worry about. It's just how many people can you get in this Grav? How many can you keep down by the end of it?
We'll have the High Noon here to try and at least buy some space should some of these combos come through. And Havana's going to get Kath right at the start of this. There's the minefield with the power driver in over the top for this one pick already. And Kath gets brought back into the fight. J Omega with another punch through. And the High Noon's only going to find one here. It's DS Daniels with the numbers on the point for now. Sakaki gets in with tactical visor, but that ain't going to go through shields, I'm afraid, buddy, as J Merca takes him down. And it's now down to Punky to try and stall this out. But his connect to the pillar isn't good enough, and he can't set up that spin cycle. Still in control for now. This could arguably go either way as the recontest is starting to come through here for the Quick Players. Punky's going to be back in quick, but Purple Flurp gets focused down by J Omega. This is looking like it might be about to die out here in favor of Double Shield Daniels. Coalescence from Kath. Mellow with the Valk here means that the sustain through this is phenomenal for DS Daniels, and it looks like it's running out here for Quick Players.
Yeah, I saw Kath get picked early, and I was like, okay, well, Quick Players can push aggro, and they win this fight, and then just Double Shield Daniels got the res off, and they refused to lose.
There is no better sound in Overwatch than the hum of that Orisa, of that Zarya cannon. Actually hits 100 energy and rounds out the point there for the Double Shield Daniels. We're at a draw here, Gunther.
We're at 1-1, and when you said earlier that this is the kind of series that can go to 4 submaps or 9 submaps, and it's looking like 9, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm ready for I don't think either team is going to close out 200-0 here or anything like that. I think this is really going all the way.
Yeah, this absolutely has the makings of that 9 mapper. Maybe we only go as far as 8, but we're already going the distance now that we're into the final tiebreaker map, as it were. So, these two teams, both punching fairly evenly in this.
Yeah, it's back and forth. It's like there is no blow left unchecked. Every time someone tries to do something, it is responded to, with equal force every single time. And going to Busan here, a map that we've seen a fair few times in this tournament, a map that these teams are probably comfortable on. I'm not sure if I should be expecting comfort picks or if I should be expecting what they, maybe some wacky out of the box stuff or what they've been playing so far.
I think they've got a couple of looks here from both of these teams that would work on a couple of different maps here. We've seen the May comps, we've seen the Farah comps, we've seen a whole gamut of things here, which I think the thing that we maybe don't think about is that this makes it very difficult to try and predict what your opponent is going to run. Like, you maybe know that you're more likely to see the May on Mecha Base than you are on Downtown, but you can't guarantee it. You know that these guys have got tricks up their sleeves. So maybe you even abandon trying to predict and you just run what you think is going to be stronger.
Yeah, something that is often said at some higher levels of Overwatch when you're, getting caught up in trying to counter the enemy and figure out plans and everything. It's just play your game. Just do what you do well. Execute on what you do well.
Mm-hmm.
And if the enemy team tries to counter it, then that's their problem because you are doing what you do well.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to just take that first engagement, and if it turns out that you guessed worse than your opponent, GG's, back to spawn, rethink it, and come out and just accept that you're going to be fighting at a disadvantage.
Yeah, it's all about not worrying about what your opponent is doing. It is just doing the best that you can do in the situation. And if you need to go back to the drawing board, that's fine. Be ready for that.
Looks like we are getting ready to go in, so should have our first submap revealed to us very shortly. And we're going to be starting on Mecha Base. And I hinted that we've seen a bit of May out of both of these teams. This feels like the map where we're most likely to see it, but we have also seen the Doomfist Genji dive and Double Shield look out from Double Shield Daniels on this map specifically in their previous series.
I want to see Double Shield Daniels run back on the May and the Doomfist. I really liked that comp. I think that they played around point control pretty well, and I feel like, you know, maybe it's not as good here as it was on a place like Limpal Village, but it's still strong, and it's the kind of thing which feels like it could catch quick players off guard.
Could well do, and always a little bit tricky to talk about what's being currently hovered over in Spawn, because none of this is locked in just yet, but I don't think there's a lot of surprise that we're going to be seeing the Rhine Zarya coming out from both teams. I feel though like Purple Flurp has maybe had the better of this matchup. Like he seems more consistently to be landing shatters and getting big fire strikes.
Well, that probably comes partially down to how Hida and Punky are using bubbles. Hida might be using bubbles on other teammates more often than he is on Moose, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just means Moose is having a harder time with it. Oh my!
The reflect, Sakaki with the double, Chasm J Omega down. What a catastrophic fight to a team start. They've already lost this one, and the point's not going to unlock for another 8 seconds.
That's the kind of fight where you go 3, 2, 1 fighting, you come out of spawn, you guys are ready to go, and you immediately lose that fight, and everyone's silent. Yeah,
that's a real mold maker, isn't it? It's like, oh, okay, maybe we were outmatched on that one, guys.
Yeah, so now it's just going to be stuffing rotations and scouting. These chokes are hard to break.
Yeah, Sakaki already so close to having this Dragon Blade online. That's it! That's it online! Shatter comes out, won't find any picks, and in fact, it's Sakaki that goes down. They needed that. They needed the follow-up damage. And now we are seeing quick players backing away from the incoming aggression. But Jay Omega caught out of position with no abilities to get away from the aggression and the damage from Punky. And Marathon Surge from Punky. Comes Sakaki. He's got the Dragon Strike ready to go, but Punky got credit for that one. That was 2 picks there on the back of a charge from Purple Flurp. Sakaki with the reflex. Sakaki with the dash. They've got the numbers here, but Mystic is able to focus him down.
Yeah, early on into that fight, you see Sukaki come out and die with the blade going greedy, and that sets up this entire fight for Double Shield Daniels to have a serious shot at holding this.
Looking good here, but Punky now with the Graviton Surge. Bob in over the top as well. Not the most orthodox of combos, but you can't argue with success. And a 6-man wipe is success in spades.
Yeah, not a huge amount of percentage, stolen here by Double Shield Daniels, so that's okay. Sukaki still is holding on to this first blade. He hasn't had a chance to use it so far, and if he's able to get some serious value out of this and let the rest of his team keep charging ults, then this is looking really good to hold this.
Well, the longer you hold on to a blade, the more value it gets, the more vintage it becomes. Shatter, Graviton Surge, Sound Barrier in as well, and McCrew coming up big in the kill feed. Both DPS offline now for Double Shield Daniels. Another dash through from Sakaki, and that Dragon Blade just continuing to increase in value.
Yeah, maybe he's saving it like Muramasa, the sharpest blade of all time, which is like 3,000 years old. And the older the blade gets, the more damage he's going to do with it. But jokes aside, Double Shield Daniels are coming into this with a lot of ults. They should probably try to go aggressive with Cole, which they're starting to do, and they can run over the front line of Quick Play.
That's going to be where it comes out. There's the Shatter, Immortality Field out. If you can wait. Oh, not going to need to wait that out. Oh my! He finally pulls out the blade, but he pulls it right into the line of fire of the Hellfire Shotgun Fury from Mystic. They may win out this fight, but it's not over just yet as they try and deal with the Bob. That's going to be the flip. What a hero play from Mystic with the Death Blossom.
Mystic really clutching up with that good Death Blossom, and Sukaki went from, a great Ronin warrior to Fall of the Samurai in that one.
They're not out of this one just yet. Punky has been able to find a pick there onto Kath, but there's too much value, too much damage coming his way, and the flip will continue for DS Daniels, but only one fight when needed here for quick players.
Yeah, quick players should try to just, play maybe a couple fights slow, charge up some ults, then come back in this last fight with a huge ult bank. If they try to waste ults on a fight that might be losable, it feels like they're going to have a harder time later.
Oh, Hida with all the charge in the world, and the minefield!
Funky gets 4.
They're on the floor. As they rise, the mines explode. And that's got to be the win here for quick players.
That was just such a well-placed mines into the shatter. Nobody could get out before the mines activate, and
I don't think, Gunther, in all my time observing and casting Overwatch, I have ever seen that combo come together in such style.
It was beautiful. It was a Renaissance painting. You know, you had everyone shattered on the ground as the mines slowly rose through the air and they popped like balloons. But instead of joy like a balloon, it was death.
It's really more of a Hindenburg than a party balloon for this sort of exchange. But now this is the matchiest of match points. One more map win here for Quick Players, and they are going to take the series and take the tournament total. WShield Daniels, they've got to step it up, and they've got to step it up right now.
Something I want to point out is that neither of these teams have really been speeding or teleporting out of spawn, which just feels like an optimization that hasn't been made. But really aggressive play onto Quick Players.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of damage out already, and Sakaki getting pressured here. Nice dash down away from J Omega, means that he can't connect to some of those last abilities to secure the kill, and Mellow and Mystic both down here now. Quick Players with an advantage on the point and looking for an early cap.
Yeah, Quick Players, I want to say they have the momentum in their favor here. They won the last map or they won the last point in a little bit of style. Sukaki's kind of popping off, you know, finding picks wherever he wants to, and this is going to be a hard comp to re-get into. The Pharah spam is just difficult to deal with, especially when you don't have something like that Diva.
Oh. Let's be aware there. Wrecking Balls may be closer than they appear as he just speeds through the back line there. Not opting for the Zarya this time, but needs to find a lot of value very quickly. Already at 71% on the ult, so that could be useful for the retake here, but it takes a lot of damage on the way through. Will give over a lot of ult charge already, and they've got to be careful because there is an Earth Shadow ready to go. Somewhere on the sides, though, the DPS lineup, the DS Daniels, start to come alive. They're going to find 2 picks here, so this is WShield Daniels' fight to win, and we will see the Shadow come out pretty quickly there from Purple Flip. Still in this fight for Quick Players as Sakaki looks to dash through a couple, finds 2. One more with the dash resets. Will find J Omega, and they're still in control of the points.
So, you know, Quick Players looked at Double Shield and they said, okay, I see your stubbornness. I see you don't want to lose. But, you know, we can do that too. And that's a very losable fight. A lot of people would have called a reset here and go again, but Quick Players say no, and they keep going. They commit the Coalescence, they commit the Earth Shatter, they commit the Blade, and they come out on top of it. Maybe ult economy isn't in their favor, but if they're able to take this 99-0 fight and come back with ults after the Nano Blade has been used, this should be an easy recap.
Got to see the Valkyrie here to start things off. DPS ults now available for Double Shield Daniels, but they've got to be quick because Punky is closing in on having this Graviton Surge. The res isn't going to come through. Double Shield Daniels putting paid to that, so we're not going to see that combo here, but it is 94% and climbing as the Graviton Surge comes through. Subcat and stops the res coming through. 90-90-0 is where we're going to see this flip here for Double Shield Daniels. This never say die attitude may have worked out against them, as we do see ults being thrown in. The Nano Boost was used there as well. Mystic's going to find McCrew. They still don't want to let this flip come through. The Shatter from Purple Fluff stuffs up any chance of the recontest, and that is it. Quick Players on Busan round this out 2-0 and take the series and take the tournament.
That was a great heads-up play from Purple Flip at the end, being able to push up and shatter those 2 people and just, like, deny that contest. But it really comes down to the fact that Double Shield Daniels weren't able to execute on that Nano Blade combo.
That's a really, really strong showing, and it's a little bit unfortunate that we maybe didn't get to see that third map on Busan because Quick Players just seem to find that additional gear and shut out Double Shield Daniels. It would have been nice to see just a little more out of these 2 teams, but you can't argue with the level of success that Quick Players were able to find with what they were running.
Yeah, and in all honesty, just in general, it was lovely to not have to bear the torture of watching Double Shield Mirror for a long time. These people were having fun, they were playing heroes they enjoyed, and there is no better Overwatch than when everyone is having fun.
So here you go, guys. From a guy playing for a team that just made Contenders Trials, it's actually much better just to be a Platinum Diamond player. You get to play what you want more often.
It really is. Oh my god.
It's why so many people have Smurf accounts. It's like, that's my serious account. I'm just gonna have a low level account where I play some DPS. But back on topic. I mean, I feel like we've kind of said everything that there is to say about quick players and Double Shield Daniels. It really could have gone either way. And it came right down to the wire. It's just that quick players had that extra gear to shift up into.
With all of this back and forth, maybe it's like flipping a coin every time. There
Mm.
has to come a point where quick players just get heads 3 times in a row, and they're able to shut that out, take that 100-0 on Busan. It looked really good on Double Shield Daniels for a little bit. They were able to web up the point. They were able to, isolate certain targets and get picks. But quick players, they just started to invest more ults in one of those very losable fights, and they were able to clutch that out and keep things together for last fight.
Well, congratulations to quick players. They walk away as the grand champions of the Pluto Cup. Commiserations to Double Shield Daniels, who walk away with second place, which, considering the level of talent we've seen in this tournament, is nothing to be sneezed at. Big thank you as well to all the tournament admins and all of the staff behind the scenes here at Elo Hell, bringing you the observing and the production and all the beautiful graphics that we see here. If you've enjoyed today's broadcast, there is, of course, almost always something Overwatch themed going on with Elo Hell, so keep your eyes glued to social media, subscribe to Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube page, and you'll be able to find all of the latest and greatest in community and professional Overwatch. But from myself and from Gunther, that's going to be it for today, and we hope that we'll see you all next time.